Hello and welcome to NonToxic Nerd, home of movies, TV, comics, and games. In this video, we're going to be looking at the upcoming 2021 slate for Marvel Studios, which will definitely happen because nothing bad is ever going to happen again. 2020 has purged all the bad things that could ever happen, and it's all sunshine and rainbows from here on out. Look, of course, a lot of this could not happen, plans could change, things could get shuffled around. This is what we have confirmed so far, so that's what we're going to look at today. Okay, now that WandaVision has completed, we're moving on to Falcon and the Winter Soldier, set for March 19th. This series will run over 6 weekly episodes and follow a global adventure that tests their abilities and their patience. That's from IMDb. So it sounds like we might have some competitive natures, maybe some not seeing eye to eye, and probably some reconciliation and working together to get the job done at the end of the day. Of course, we'll see Anthony Mackie and Sebastian Stan as the title characters, respectively. Daniel Bruhl will reprise his role as Baron Zemo, looking very Baron Zemo from the comics, purple hood and all. Also, is it Zemo or Zemo? If I'm saying it wrong, somebody correct me in the comments. I'm pretty sure it's Zemo. We'll also see Wyatt Russell debut as U.S. Agent, a kind of knockoff Captain America working for the U.S. government. Not really a great guy from the comics, so we'll see that dynamic against our heroes, maybe throwing some wrinkles in the story and another obstacle to overcome for them. Next up on May 7th, the Black Widow movie. Finally, we're getting a Black Widow movie, of course starring Scarlett Johansson as the Black Widow, covering her shenanigans between Civil War and Infinity War. Florence Pugh will be appearing as Yelena Belova, who in the trailer addresses Natasha as sis, implying that they're sisters, but in the comics, they're not actually related. So I'm very interested to see where Marvel Studios is going to go with that. Rachel Weisz of The Mummy fame is playing Melina Vostokov, a Russian government agent who has been through the Red Room several times. In the comics, she's known as Iron Maiden and has a deep-seated hatred of Black Widow. So maybe some villainy, some betrayal. We'll see how that turns out. We'll also see David Harbour as Alexei Shostakov, also known as Red Guardian, basically a communist Captain America. So in the comics, Alexei is a decorated pilot for the Soviet Union and is married to a famous ballerina known as Natasha Romanoff. Gasp. So Soviet Russia does some Soviet Russia things, and the two are separated to be trained as Black Widow and Red Guardian. Natasha is told that Alexei is killed in combat, and Alexei is just straight up told, you can't have any contact with anybody from your former life, including your wife. So I doubt that this storyline will be used in the movie. The trailer makes it seem like they're all a part of a team that used to work together, and they're getting back together for one last showdown, shindig, shenanigan, pick a word. We'll also see O.T. Fagbanley as Rick Mason. In the comics, Rick Mason is a freelance secret agent mercenary who works for multiple intelligence agencies, including S.H.I.E.L.D. and MI6 and Russian intelligence. His father's name was Phineas Mason and was known as the Tinkerer. So right now he is the front runner in speculation for the secret identity of Taskmaster, which will be the main villain in the Black Widow movie. We'll also see William Hurt return as Thaddeus Thunderbolt Ross, and we even have young Natasha and Yelena cast in Ever Anderson and Violet McGraw, respectively. So maybe some flashbacks, backstory on these two characters, which is great because we don't have really a whole lot of backstory on Black Widow right now, just bits and pieces that they've given us in the movies. June 11th will be the premiere of Loki, starring Tom Hiddleston as who else but the God of Mischief himself. In the trailer, we see a mustachioed Owen Wilson as Mobius M. Mobius. He's a high-ranking officer in the Time Variance Authority, or TVA. So over 6 episodes, it looks like we'll see a romp through time as Loki engages in his classic Loki shenanigans. This one looks really interesting. We catch some glimpses of Loki as D.B. Cooper, jumping out of an airplane with all his money, getting picked up by the Bifrost. This is, of course, after he name drops Heimdall and refers to his brother, Thor, obviously. So I'm really interested to see where Marvel is going with this. Of course, this is the Loki from the alternate timeline where he steals the Tesseract back after the events of the first Avengers movie. So will this tie into the overall Marvel universe? Is this a multiverse kind of deal? Is this a one shot, a one off where nothing really matters? I don't see that happening. So this will be fun to watch. July 9th, 2021 will be the release of Shang-Chi and the Legend of the Ten Rings, starring Simu Liu as Shang-Chi and Awkwafina as Katie. Now, I can't really find anything about Awkwafina's character, if she's based on the comics. It looks like she's going to be a skilled martial artist that'll be helping Shang-Chi in whatever quest he's engaged in. So leave a comment below if you know anything about the Shang-Chi franchise. I'll do some more research. We'll probably do a video on it at some point. I'm really very interested to see what this franchise is about. So I'll be honest with you, I know nothing about this. I did some research. Shang-Chi, he's also known as the Master of Kung Fu. He was based on Bruce Lee. We have seen the Ten Rings before as a terrorist organization in Iron Man 1 and 3. So what's this going to be? Oh, and the Marvel one shot where we see Ben Kingsley, who played the actor portraying the Mandarin on camera in Iron Man 3. He's confronted by the actual Ten Rings organization and told that the real Mandarin is not pleased with his little shenanigans he had going on. So what's this going to be? Is it going to be a Shang-Chi origin? Are we going to see the real Mandarin? I'm not sure what's going on in this movie, but I can't wait to find out. The Eternals will be releasing on November 5th of this year, and oh boy, do we have a cast here. Alright, so we've got Salma Hayek, Angelina Jolie, Kit Harington, and Kumail Nanjiani, among others. And this film will showcase the immortal race of the Eternals, which has helped shape the Marvel Universe. So if you've seen some of the promos for this, we saw Kumail get totally ripped for this role. They're putting their work in. It's going to promise something new to the MCU. So basically the backstory on this is these gods of the Marvel Universe, the Celestials, which we've seen before in Guardians of the Galaxy. Of course, the severed head of which was Nowhere was a Celestial. They come to Earth about 5 million years ago and run experiments on our ancestors known as proto-humans. This divides the proto-humans into two sects, I guess, which would be the Eternals and the Deviants. So maybe a counter to the Eternals. So the Eternals are different than most superhero teams, where they can actually combine into the Unimind and wield powers which they otherwise couldn't. So just like Shang-Chi, this offers something fresh and new, and will also be expanding the scope of the MCU beyond just Earth-based or galaxy-based. This seems to encompass a lot more of maybe the creation of the MCU. Possibly getting some mutants out of this, we'll see. And finally, December 17th, Tom Holland returns in Spider-Man No Way Home. With his identity released to the world, maybe some old foes returning, and a new relationship with MJ blossoming, it looks like Peter Parker will have his hands full. So we've got Alfred Molina reprising his role as Dr. Octopus presumably from the Sam Raimi original Spider-Man trilogy. Spider-Man 2, probably, if not the best superhero movie ever made, top 3 for sure. We also have Jamie Foxx returning as Electro from the Andrew Garfield Spider-Man universe, which probably doesn't belong in that same category, but it did happen. It was a Marvel movie. But most importantly, we see some potential multiverse lines crossing. We already had Into the Spider-Verse come out just a few years ago. We know the Spider-Verse exists. The general public is aware, at least in the real world, we're aware of the Spider-Verse. The general public is aware of the Spider-Verse. So is that coming to the MCU? This will be interesting to see how this happens. We also have an appearance from Benedict Cumberbatch as Doctor Strange before his movie Doctor Strange in the Multiverse of Madness. So it's looking like some multiverse shenanigans are going to be afoot. Of course, that movie is slated for March 2022. We also have tentative dates for Marvel's What If, a series coming to Disney Plus mid-2021. We also have a Ms. Marvel and Hawkeye series, each coming in late 2021. They don't have specific dates for those yet. I'll do a video on those when we have more information, when I know when those will be coming out. But I mean, at least the What If, you can look at the trailer on YouTube, or wherever you watch your trailers. Looks pretty good. We've got a Peggy Carter taking over as the super soldier, possibly as a Captain Britain. We have, or Union Jack. We have a zombie Captain America. We see T'Challa get picked up by Yondu and the Ravagers instead of Peter Quill. So lots of interesting what if. It's basically just a concept from the comics where they just say, what if this happened instead of this? And they go from there. So that'll be interesting to see. I'm really looking forward to that one. So look, like I said earlier, all of this could blow up again. I'd like to stay positive and say that the worst is behind us with 2020 and what it gave us. So I will. I know that all of this will happen in some form. Marvel's not going to give up on this. We will get everything that they have promised. Will we get it when they said? Now? I don't know that. We will get all this content though. I'm really excited to see what Marvel has coming up. There's a lot of great stuff that they can do with these properties, and I'm honestly just more excited for more Marvel shenanigans. It's just shenanigans left and right over here. So what are you most excited for? Leave a comment below. Don't forget to like, share, and subscribe. You can follow NonToxic Nerd on Facebook and Twitter. We might get up on Instagram, maybe some other platforms, we'll see. But I'm working on a podcast right now, trying to get that up and running. I got some guests coming in. We're going to talk about, movies, TV, comics, video games, board games, really whatever you guys are interested in. So leave a comment below. Tell me what you want to see, and I'll look into making a video about it. And you can also keep an eye out for more videos coming your way. I'd like to thank Brad Kilmer for the intro-outro music. Let me know what you think about that. I got a couple other samples that I can try, and maybe we'll put those in. So thanks for sticking around. I really appreciate you taking a view at this video, and we'll see you next time.